right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're in time for our interview segment. I have with me in the studio a wellness coach, an inspirational speaker, and a writer. She pens the column Harness Your Personal Power, and it comes out every Sunday in Allure, which is a pullout in the Vanguard newspaper. Please join me in welcoming Patricia Omoqui. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Very well.
Let me be honest with you now.
Yes.
Because it's one-on-one. The first time I saw your surname, I was like, okay, is she married to a Nigerian?
Yes, I am married
You
to a
are
Nigerian.
married to a Nigerian.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing.
He's from Edo State.
How did that happen, Patricia?
While I was playing professional basketball in London,
Mm-hmm.
we met in a park. He was working out. He was a professional football player for a time, and we were both working out. And when I got up to leave, he kicked the soccer ball in front of me.
Oh, really?
So I
and
picked
you
it up,
picked it
and,
up.
you know, the rest
Got
is
you
history.
right there.
That's
Amazing.
right.
You know, I was
That's
just toying around with the idea. Well, you let the cat out of the bag. Yes, Patricia did start out life as a professional basketballer. She played in Brazil as well as where else?
Sweden and England. I played at Princeton University to begin
Okay.
with. That's where my career really took off.
Okay.
And then I played overseas for 3 years.
That must have been fun.
It was a fantastic experience,
Okay,
yeah.
and then you left all of that excitement to become a consultant with Accenture.
Yes. We moved back to the United States, and I decided to try out the corporate world. I was very successful. I enjoyed it to a point. It was definitely a learning period. First, I worked with Accenture. Then I moved on to work for a division of Tyco International.
Okay.
But then I found myself being successful, but sitting in meetings wondering, isn't there something more to all
To be
of this?
done.
Yeah.
But you had the picture perfect life, high-powered
Yes.
suits,
All of
good
that.
pay,
Big
everything.
staff, managing a
All
large
right.
budget.
So is that the journey? Is that how the journey to becoming? Which one were you first, a wellness coach or the speaker?
They both happened at the same time, actually. My mother was a speech coach. So ever since I was young, I was on stage, I was speaking.
Okay.
And with basketball, I spoke quite a bit to young people,
Okay.
teaching them basketball, but also teaching them the principles that would make them successful as basketball players. So while I was in my search for my new career, I attended a conference, and most of the attendees were life coaches. And I realized at that conference, that's what I want to be. And I saw people speaking on stage, and I said, wait a second, I know how to do that. I should be the one up there.
Okay.
So,
Inspirational speaking, life coaching is, I won't say completely new in Nigeria, but it's on the upswing. We've had
Right.
quite a few young men and women calling themselves life coaches and, telling us how to live. And it was perceived or received with some level of cynicism, like, what makes you an expert, really?
Right.
Where do you come off telling me how to live my life?
Right.
What gives you the credentials to do what you do?
Well, I'd say for the first of all, training, but second of all, life experience. When you are trying to teach someone else to overcome their fears and to see the self-limitation that they have and the self-doubt, you need to be able to do that yourself. And in my transition, in my career transition, and in various things that happened in my life, I hit a point of extreme suffering. My older child, who's now 5, she was born with some special needs. And so my whole life was in chaos at the time when I was making all these transitions. But I had to learn to control the focus of my mind. Most people don't know how to do that. And not all life coaches teach people how to do that. My take
How
on
to
life,
focus the
how
power,
to really focus their thoughts.
Okay.
So that they create the outcomes that they want in their lives. We're more powerful than we recognize. And what I teach people to do is to take the tools that they've been given for their journey, meaning their mind, their passion and their heart, their intuition or their gut, and I teach them to use those tools so that they can begin, first of all, visualizing what they truly want to create with their lives instead of allowing life to come at them.
And control them.
Control them. I mean, I spoke at the conference at the wellness seminar this past weekend, and I was talking about relationships. How many of us are truly choosing the relationships that we want to have in our life? Or are we just taking any people who step into our lives and assuming that they must become our friends? Even with our family, though they are our family, are we obligated to spend time if they're draining our energy? So I teach people to consciously approach how they create their entire life, whether it's their profession, their health, achieving their personal goals, or their career, whatever it is. they don't have to stay stuck. I was stuck in my life, and I felt like there's no way I could make these changes. But as I really began to look at myself and question the things that were going on in my mind, particularly the fears I had, I was very afraid of making that jump from a big salary out into the unknown,
that,
yes, to my own company. But I looked at my fears and I started to see, wait a minute, my fears are controlling me. It's keeping me in this little box. I was ready to expand and travel the whole world and do what I wanted to do. That's what was in my heart, but it was my head that was holding me back from that. So as a life coach, what I do is I sit with people. I can hear what they're saying and what they're not saying, and then I can give them ideas and help them maybe to see themselves in a new light, because we often don't really know our own power and our own
We
potential.
don't see ourselves the way
We
we truly
don't.
are. We always see ourselves reflected in other people's eyes. And
Right.
depending on who's looking, they might be showing you the wrong picture.
Exactly.
I get you. I hear you on that one. Okay. Now, for those, I'm going to play the devil's advocate.
Sure,
I'm gonna sit on the
please.
fence. I know that there are people sitting at home and will say, they've come with this their new age hogwash. You know, how important, how big a tool is your thinking, the way you think, and how much does that affect your successes or otherwise in life?
Well, I believe that it affects everything, and I wouldn't consider it new age at all, though some people term it that way. I think it's a matter of, again, taking this magnificent tool that God gave you and beginning to use it. Most
Being
people
your
say,
thought
your
process,
mind.
your mind.
Yes, your mind. It is your mind. Everything begins with a thought, right?
Truly.
You
Even
starting
the Bible
having
says
this
it. Yes.
TV show probably began with someone having the thought, oh, she would be great at that, let's do this. And then what happens? You moved along. But most people, they might have that thought of what they want to create, but then they have the next thought that says, oh no, I'm not
Can't
going to be
do
good
it.
enough about that. Or someone will say, you're not good enough. And then you adopt that, and then
thought
that
to do
plays
that.
in your mind. So when you really look at your mind and you start to see the patterns, it's just like a computer program running, right? But it's been programmed haphazardly by what your friends have told you, what society has
different
told
voices,
you, all
different
these voices.
influences that come
Exactly. But why not purposefully choose who you want to be and what you want to create, and
There's
then
actually a
choose.
Christian principle. Whose report will you believe? Which one? What do you choose to believe? You're successful and beautiful, or you're a failure and you won't amount to much?
Right.
So it's all about taking in the right stimuli, surrounding yourself with positive people,
Correct.
positive energy.
But I think most importantly, bringing the positivity from within.
In,
We can't
out.
control, we can bring positive people into our lives, but most importantly, we have to learn to love, embrace, accept, and know ourselves so that when other people question us, we don't need to question ourselves.
Okay.
We have 50,000 thoughts that we think in a day, and each thought...
Scientifically proven.
Yes, 40 to
Wow.
50,000 thoughts. Each thought is an opportunity. Are you going to choose a thought that goes in the direction of what you want to create in your life, or are you going to choose a thought about what you don't like? If you imagine going to the buffet of life, what dishes do people choose to eat? Usually they're focused on, ew, I don't like this, and ew, this is horrible, or oh, I don't want that to happen. Isn't that crazy? Who goes to a buffet and eats like that? Nobody does, right? But we do that mentally. You go and you choose the dishes that you love. That's what you should be focusing on, so you enjoy your life. But we don't do that mentally.
Okay.
So,
All right. Before we run out of too much time,
Sure.
yes, you're here every week in your column
I
in the
am.
Vanguard, but you were here in person this weekend for a particular reason.
Yes.
The Allure magazine, the pull-out
Yes.
from the Daily Vanguard, had their very first Women on Wellness retreat.
Seminar, yes.
It was for 2 days, and you spoke. I was there. I listened to you speak, and I said to you during a mini interview we did on the premises, like how important, because this one was designed for women,
Right,
women becoming whole and wholesome inside out.
right.
And I said to you, a lot of people, especially in Africa, like to dismiss it. You know, the woman is perceived to be strong. She can handle everything. She should be satisfied with rearing the family and the home and whatever. And I'm saying, how important is it for a woman to be completely fulfilled inside out and happy? What effect does that have on her immediate family and on the society
Right.
at large?
Right. Well, I think that it's highly important. I think women are at the center of everything in society. We're the mothers, we're the wives, supporting our husbands, hopefully supporting ourselves as well in what we want to do. And as the woman changes and becomes more peaceful inside, she creates a different atmosphere in her family, in the friendships that she has. And I believe connecting mind, body, and spirit inside a woman begins a major change within a culture, because it's a ripple effect of love, of peace, of harmony, of joy. But if we ourselves as women are stressed out and have inner chaos going on, we can't help but create that. For men as well, for children as well. But I think we are the teachers and the nurturers in our societies typically. And so if we as women step up and find fulfillment and satisfaction on our own, then it creates positivity all around us. And I do believe it creates waves of change.
All right, I've been speaking with Patricia Omoqui. You can listen to her talk all day, you know. We had 2 days, two fantastic days at the Eco Hotel. You can catch up with her by reading her column every Sunday. It comes out in Allure, which is a pull-out at the Vanguard newspaper. You also have a website, don't you?
I
And,
do,
we'll
yes.
take all of that information.
Yes.
She has books she's written. She has a CD on how to create wealth.
Yes.
By a few basic steps. So if you want to find out how you can get her books or her CDs or whatever it is, you know what to do. Send us an email and we'll forward all her information to you. The rest of the show will continue after the break.
Thank you.
For coming.